Hey everyone, this is Split King Gamer. Welcome back to Let's Play Senran Kagura 2 Deep Crimson. Hang on a second, I'm trying to see if I can... There we go. Sorry, I'm just trying to position my camera. Anyways, in the last part, we started the... This is actually, I actually deleted a video by complete accident, which had me going through a lot of exposition, and I ended up deleting it by accident. So we're gonna have to be starting over, though this might help me out in the long run because I actually do have to level up some people. So I have to restart at the ultimate duo, but basically for this part we're starting off the final chapter of the game, and we're basically gonna find out what Kagura's deal is, basically. I mean, I already know what it is, but I can reiterate. It was 1 hour ago. I was at a High Council Inn, which felt like it carried the history of Kyoto. An old establishment where nobles and federal lords once stayed, and where the Kagura Countermeasure Force had called an emergency meeting. What about the business of that little girl? Even before I entered the room, the councilman's words shot through like an arrow. The Yoma attacks were starting to die down across every region of Japan, thanks to the efforts of the high shinobi. But the situation was still urgent, and despite that, the council apparently had the time to set up a base in Kyoto where the shinobi students were fighting. The councilmen who arrived in Kyoto have done little to dispel the discontent all around. So basically, it's just like what I've stated before, and that the Shinobi Council has done jack shit. I agree, that needs some answering. Well then, fuck you too then! If the inexperienced shinobi students learn the truth about Kagura, they'll sympathize with her and eventually fail the mission. That's what the council must be thinking. Yeah, so what? I mean, that hasn't stopped a lot of people in the past. It didn't stop the Hanzo girls last time at the beginning of the game and showed mercy to the Habijo girls, so what's the big deal? True, Asuka and the others are still only shinobi students, but they are my students, and they have overcome multiple trials, all of them, and well beyond the standard curriculum. Even now, even with all their inevitable doubts, they will see the mission through. I tried to tell the councilman that to explain how worthy my students are. But no matter what I said, they gave me the same answer. Naturally, they gave no further explanation, and as a shinobi instructor, my job was to relay their orders to the shinobi without questions. Even though, this good shinobi council is nothing more than a bunch of old farts who sit on their ass and do nothing. Their ways can be foolish to say the least, but I have no right to argue. I personally have a right to argue because their foolishness and ways are completely outdated ideals that have died a long time ago. The chain of command is a heavy burden on us all. I gather the Hanzo Academy students and Crimson Squad members in the hotel lobby. 10 faces stare at me. I look each of them in the eye. Youthful as they are, they each carry a spark, a burning determination to become a shinobi. Just as I open my mouth, it hits me. They all think and make decisions on their own. And the results are plain to see. Good shinobi and former evil shinobi side by side. Have any other good shinobi ever accomplished this before? Given what we've seen from the Good Shinobi Council, which Hell no, I am not getting over that they're a bunch of hypocrites. No, they haven't. The council, old and conservative as they are, can only frown on it. Yeah, because they're just a bunch of idiots who are living in the past. Okay? Their time has come and gone. This is the new age that we need to look upon for. This is exactly what I'm talking about. But Asuka and the others earned this bond of friendship in battle after battle. These 10 girls are more than the next generation of shinobi. They're the new age. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if every one of them surpasses the old shinobi techniques and traditions. They may even rise to become Hainen, the highest shinobi rank in the record books. If that's the case, then as their teacher I must. Alright, I went through this once, but for you watching this, it's time to see what Kagura's deal is. Then and there, I decide to reveal the secrets. I place my bet on the new shinobi era rather than the dusty old law books. Yeah, so guess what, shinobi councilman? You can take your old outdated ideals, take those law books, and shove them up your ass. If I know my students, they will find their own answer, whether they choose to eliminate Kagura or not. The 10 girls, good shinobi and renegade alike, have their eyes on me with all sincerity. Alright, here we go. I tell them everything. Kagura is a unique being who reincarnates repeatedly, solely to eradicate the Yoma. Records of her existence go back as far as 900 years. Past shinobi had treated her with fear and with envy since she disposes of Yoma so easily. In many peculiar ways, she is different from ordinary humans. For one thing, she has her own way of growing. Excuse me. Kagura is born as a small girl, hatched as it were, from a mystical device known as the reincarnation sphere. She then eats red orbs which contains Yoma's life force that force awakens her body and mind. When she destroys a specific number of Yoma in her awakened state, her body crumbles apart, after which she returns to the reincarnation sphere. Every 100 years, the cycle repeats. And since Kagura has been around for 900 years, I'm going to bet that this has happened about 9 times already. Which means that I'm willing to say that Kagura has met different people throughout the times that she is repeatedly reincarnating, and those past people that she has met have obviously passed away, and meets a whole bunch of new people. So it goes, and so it will, for as long as she has Yoma to destroy. She is not completely alone, since ancient times certain people have lived and died to protect her. They are known as the Goshin clan. In her more childlike state, Kagura cannot exert her true powers. So as a guy, always known as by the title Naruku, takes on the role as her guardian until she's awakened. So, Naruku is not really a name, it is a title. It's sort of like the Shogun and the Yokozuna from Mad World, where they don't have like an official name, it's just a title. Naruku's final purpose is to recover the reincarnation sphere in the end. One might wonder, of course, why the good Shinobi Council would want Kagura eliminated. The answer lies in her historical history. When Kagura returns to the reincarnation sphere, it produces an immeasurable amount of heat and levels in the surrounding area. If Kagura were to return in the sphere now, the countermeasure for it estimates that the blast would wipe Kyoto off the map. So basically, when Kagura turns in the reincarnation here, it gives off global warming and then becomes a nuke, I'm guessing. So, if that's the case, why the hell didn't they just tell them that in the first place? As I finish explaining, the first to raise her hand is Asuka. The other 9 girls all nod at that.
倒さないようにすればいいんだよ。
Homura taps her hands together with inspiration.
なるほど。つまり私たちが先にヨーマを全部倒してしまえばいいということだな。そうそう。
Everybody seems to agree with Asuka and Homura's plan. This is it. It may be too simple of an answer, but they haven't lost what's important. Adults are too stubborn and they think too hard, and because of that, they've had to weigh a young woman's life against the fate of a city. But my students are different. They're determined to save anyone who can be saved, and they'll risk their own lives to do it.
でもそれじゃあ命令違反になっちゃうかな。
Who cares? Those old farts are just a bunch of idiots who basically have done nothing up to this point, so let them throw their temper tantrums. Asuka hesitantly looks in my direction. I shake my head and answer. No matter what the consequences are, I'm prepared to stand up for my students. Even if it means losing all status as a shinobi. Well, if they decide to do that, just give them the finger and just flip them off. Master Hanzo is suddenly there, sitting on the lobby sofa. He'd hidden his presence the whole time, even from me.
じゃあ京都に来てたの？
わしは忍びを引退した身じゃが、現役にああだこうだ言うほど老いぼれてはおらん。
Master Hanzo clears his throat. I should also mention that I'm not sure if I said this at the beginning of this Let's Play, but I should mention that Asuka's grandfather is kind of a pervert. So, kind of like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball Z. So, I think he's just more than just idle.
しかしだ、今のお前たちがこの町の妖魔を全部倒すにはもっと修行が必要じゃな。
修行は十分にやっている。なめないでもらおう。
What the hell? What's going on here? I'm looking at this like... Homura curls her lips and narrows her eyes. Master Hanzo, who doesn't show any reaction and just laughs her heroically.
まあそんなにカリカリするな。
There we go.
キリア、こいつらをみんな借りるぞ。修行にぴったりな二人を東京から連れてきたんでな。
I have no objection. Master Hanzo's chosen trainers will no doubt raise the students' skills to the next level.
ああ、そうじゃ。
Just as he reaches the lobby door, Master Hanzo turns around.
キリア、お前にアスカを任せてよかったわい。感謝しとるぞ。
Master Hanzo looks towards me and lowers his head. As a shinobi school teacher, there is no higher praise. I panic and bow my head even lower than Master Hanzo's. I stay bowed long after he's left the lobby, partly out of respect, but also partly to hide the tears in my eyes. Shit. Alright.
刀と盾に例えれば、アスカは盾、ホムラは刀。どちらも未熟この上ない。
Alright, so are the trainers that the girls are going to be working with. They are Daijoji, who is basically the Hanzo girl's senpai, or basically their older student, and Ren, who we've met in the second chapter.
大道寺の指摘の通りだ。だからこそ二人で一つになりやすいとも言える。ちっちゃんの言った修行相手ってこの二人か。面白い。相手にとって不足なし。お前たちが二人で一つの刀と盾になるんだ。ただしそのためには互いのことを深く理解することが必要になる。深く理解だと？そんなこと急に言われても。だろうな。だから構えろ。言 葉で理解できるものではない。体で覚えてもらおう。ウヌラの肉体耐えうるか。覚悟決まれば刀を抜くべし。
Alright, so I'm gonna have to redo the first mission of the last chapter. But yeah, we're going up against Rin and Daijoji with Asuka and Homura.
たびれたぞ。ごめんごめん。
Alright. So, I already talked about Rin's playstyle in the past, but I'll talk about Daijoji. Basically, her playstyle is sort of along the lines of, basically she fights with her bare fist and she hits like a truck. So basically, like the typical, like, fire, punches, and kicks, but there are attacks that actually do hurt, so you do have to be on your guard. Okay. Alright, I suppose I should probably talk about what I've been doing. As you can probably tell, I'm back to my 4th semester, and I know I talked about my classes, I think about a few parts ago, but some things actually have changed. So yeah, some things actually have changed. I replaced pop literature with sophomore seminar, which basically is a class that kind of teaches me how to like how to be in like a job interview, do something like that. Like basically job interviews and all that type of stuff. Because pop literature, it just wasn't for me, because with me, I just find that reading is just boring as hell. Oh, and it's just not my scene, to be honest. So it just wasn't for me, and I just didn't want to be in that class for the whole semester. Even though I do need like a literature class to graduate, but I did not want to put up with it. It's taken a while for me to get back into this because I actually brought both my Nintendo Switch and PS4 with me to college, and I took my Wii U out. So you probably noticed right off the bat that my setting has changed. Because I have both the Switch and the PS4 on like the side, because like the desk is just like so small, and Homer's almost down, which is not good. And I actually have gotten to play XL Festival, so I now know of pretty much most of the new characters, and I have played a couple of the other games on my PS4, and I've also played with my Switch a little bit, but not when it's like connected to the TV, only like in its portable form. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing, but I also discovered something that I was not fond of. My old camera that you know that I've been using since I started doing this channel, and mostly for my MLP reviews, because you already know the story with that. Something is wrong with it, because it still works almost fine, but the thing that I noticed is that when you turn it on, like half of the screen is like all like messed up. Like when you turn it on, it's like half of the opening screen is like cut off, and it's almost like you barely have any control over it. So that kind of bothers me. So let's get through this next cutscene, and I'll explain why, because I don't think we're gonna get to the last repeating mission in this part. And more.
お前たちは似た者同士で息も合っている。今の感覚さえ忘れなければ、どんな妖魔にでも立ち向かえるだろう。 わかった？大道寺先輩たちのアドバイスを忘れちゃダメだよ。当たり前だ。お前と一緒にするな。残念でした。私たちは似た者同士なんだから。私のことをバカにすると自分のことをバカにするのと同じなんだからね。くだらん理屈を覚えたな。
I love it when you take the words out of my mouth.
さあ、他の連中もどんどんかかってこい。私と大道寺がお前たちをさらなる高みへと導いてやろう。
And unfortunately, we only get to see that off screen. I'm just trying to remember the B. And let's see, Asuka and Homer's relationship is 13. And Asuka's the only one who leveled up to 13. I think I'm probably just gonna stop right there. Oh, and if you already complete a mission, you don't go back to like the ninja room. You just go back as it is. So, I guess I think I'll just cut it off like right here. We'll do the last of the repeating missions in the next part. So, and the next part we actually need to play as 2 Hanzo girls. Alright. So yeah, so the next mission that we're doing, oh wait, I got it wrong. Semester finals we're doing in the next part, but I just gotta quick change. Alright. Alright, so I'm just gonna go and save, and then I'll just quickly show you like what I'm talking about, because I'm trying to explain what's wrong with my camera, or rather my other camera I've been using since I started this. Oh, and Daidoji and Rin are now in the other room, so we'll hear what they have to say. Your discipline will never betray you. And then we go into the other room. There's Rin. Dedicated training will guide you to your goals. It may be tough now, but your hard work will pay off. Alright. Alright, so I'm gonna go find the save button, and before I see you in the next part, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Save, make sure it's the second file, because I worked my ass off on the first file, and I do not want to lose all that data I worked so hard to build. And bingo. Okay, so quickly show you what I'm talking about. Alright. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. You see what's wrong with this? Like, I'm not sure what happened. I mean, it still works fine and everything. Like, the functions are still the same, but it's like, I can't see the picture. And the thing that I'm worried about for some reason is that if I try to do an MLP recording, it's probably going to show up like that. I mean, it kind of looks fine, but I don't know, but that's basically the issue, so I'll see you guys in the next part.